Mark Rogers TV and SEC Breakdown. You know what we're up to. We're trying to get to every position we can possibly get to around the conference. We stop at Auburn with Jamie Hancock of Preps Nation to look at those 7-6 Tigers from last year, looking up at the SEC Western Division in 2015, trying to make amends and get back into the thick of the race. Jamie, let's look at running backs. Peyton Barber, 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's off to the NFL. Rock Thomas off to Jacksonville State. Two proven commodities. Jovon Robinson, I loved what I saw out of that guy last season. When they gave him the ball, he put up 159 against A&M, 126 in the bowl game against Memphis. And Kerryion Johnson coming into his sophomore season showed us quite a bit in his freshman campaign.
Jovon Robinson's the guy that Auburn fans have been excited about for years. The first time he signed with the Auburn program out of high school. As he came in last year, a lot of big expectations for that you may not have been in tip-top shape, and then he gets an ankle injury right there at the beginning of the Louisville game, and he disappeared for about 6 weeks. As he came back after earning the trust of the coaches, he looked like he was in a little better shape, had a little bit better feel of the playbook, and was really good when they handed him the football. And Auburn fans were really wanting to see more and more of Jovon Robinson. And then finally the Memphis game, he really stood out and took notice as to what he did in that game. He can do about everything out of the backfield, much like Ronnie Brown did when he was with the Tigers. Kerryion Johnson's a guy that came in, and he was kind of the do-all type player. He probably could have played wide receiver, running back, safety, but they chose to put him at running back, and you could tell he was a guy that was not maybe physically ready weight-wise and strength-wise as he came in. He's put on about 20 pounds over the offseason, gotten a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. He's a really smart kid, picks up on everything real well. Long strider, they really like him and expect good things out of him. And when you throw in true freshman Malik Miller, who was also out of Madison Academy, the same place as Kerryion Johnson, Millering did not anticipate having to play a role this fall, but after the surprise of Rock Thomas and Peyton Barber no longer being on the roster for various reasons, Miller stepped in and did a really good job in the spring. He's physically big enough to take the load. It's just going to be, is he ready? And via the spring, he looked pretty good.
All right, got to throw this at you, Jamie, as a guy that can really break down the offense, the scheme, and the approach. Gus Malzahn talked about not being a CEO as much this year, needing to dive into the offense, be a real offensive coach like he typically is, be in the day-to-day, knocking down the X's and O's. I looked at the numbers after he made that comment, and it didn't surprise me. In 2013 and even in 14, this offense, the rushing yardage was number 1 in the SEC, maybe number 2 in the SEC. The yards per carry, number 1 in the conference both years. Last year, you ran for 5th most in the SEC in terms of yardage, but it took a lot of carries, 11th in yards per carry. So Nick Marshall's missed. What's it going to have to take to get back to that kind of production?
You know, most teams, you have to look at the offensive line first, and Auburn, like all others, you have to get good production out of your offensive line. Consistent offensive line play is a key in the running game, no matter where you are. However, for Auburn, it is just a little bit different. Not only is offensive line play key, the quarterback being a threat on the perimeter is a major factor offense go. If you look at what they were able to do on offense, it was more about what weren't they able to do, and they were not able to threaten the outside and the edges of the defense with the quarterback position. Sean White, in my estimation, is the best quarterback on Auburn's roster, but that's not what Auburn's offense needs. Auburn's offense needs a Nick Marshall type guy. Auburn really is running the triple option out of the shotgun. They're running a wishbone style offense in a single wing look. If you do not have the threat at the quarterback position, their running game is dead. If John Franklin III is not a serviceable, so that you can get his hands on the football to be a threat in the running game, Auburn's offense will look much like it did last year.
All right. It seems to be a disjointed situation in regards to matching personnel and scheme and what Gus Malzahn does best as a offensive guru. Jamie Hancock, Preps Nation, helping us at the running back position for the Auburn Tigers. Thanks a lot, Jamie.
Thank you, Mark.